Good, good afternoon. It's a pleasure to present this work at the International Conference on New Perspective in Science Education. The title is Rubric Elaboration to Evaluate a Physics Laboratory Practice Indirect Measurement of the Speed of Light. The speed of light, a very complicated magnitude to measure. In this presentation, I will first introduce the educational context and motivation behind this proposal. Then I will describe the experimental methodology used to indirectly determine the speed of light. After that, I will explain the analytic rubric and how it structures competence-based assessment. Finally, I will present the results and the educational impact observed. The speed of light has fascinated scientists for centuries. In this work, we use that historical and conceptual relevance as a pedagogical tool. We propose a comprehensive rubric to evaluate competencies developed during the indirect measure of light speed. This integrated experimental physics with competence-based education, ensuring that students gain both theoretical understanding and practical skills. Why focus on the speed of light? Because it is a fundamental constant and plays a central role in modern physics. The value of the C is exactly is an exact value, and normally is approximated by this is a value that the student remember, and this is the exact value 299792458 meters by second. Is a fundamental constant and plays a central role. Historically, its measurement represents a major scientific challenge. It was very difficult to measure this value. Educationally, it provides a perfect bridge between theory and experiment, making it an extremely valuable laboratory activity. From Galileo's early attempts to Michelson pressure measurements, the determination of the speed of light evolved progressively. Each historical step refined experimental techniques and deepened conceptual understanding. Today, the speed of light is not just measured because it define the matter in the international system of units. This gives the experiment both historical and methodological significance. From an educational perspective, this laboratory connects theoretical electromagnetism with real measurements. Students do not simply accept the value of C. They reconstruct it experimentally. Sorry. This promotes experimental skills, scientific reasoning, active learning, and maybe meaningful engagement. This proposal is grounded in competence-based education. We focus not only on knowledge, but on ability and aptitudes. A student must apply formulas, interpret data, analyze errors, and reflect on results. Assessment, therefore, became formative and student-centered rather than purely summative. Assessment is not only about grading. It guides learning, support student growth, and provide structural feedback. When evaluation criteria are clear, students regulate their own learning more effectively. This is why the evaluation model becomes central to this proposal. Rubrics provide clear expectation and transparent evaluation criteria, reduce subjectivity, and ensure consistency in grading. Most importantly, they promote students' autonomy by making performance standards explicit. In this work, the rubric becomes both an analytical tool and learning scaffold. To evaluate the pedagogical impact of rubric, we designed a comparative study. Two groups of students performed exactly the same laboratory activity. The only difference was the evaluation approach. One group followed traditional grading, while the other worked with a detailed analytical rubric. This allows us to isolate the effect of the assessment model. The control group followed a traditional evaluation scheme. The students did not have access to a rubric beforehand. Grading was instructor-centered as usual and based on conventional laboratory reports. This reflects the standard assessment approach commonly used in many physics laboratories in the traditional form of work. The experimental group received the rubric before starting the laboratory. They had access to clear performance indicators and defined achievement levels. Expectations were structured and explicit. This group was evaluated under a competence-based framework. The objective of the laboratory is the indirect measurement of the speed of light. Students determine the electric permittivity epsilon0 and the magnetic permeability mu0 using the theoretical relation between these constants. They estimate the value of C. Through the process, they analyze uncertainties and experimental errors. In this image, we can see a capacitor is a plates separate a distance d, a qual será this distance will be variable, and the students needed the capacity in parallels. They know that the capacity is C equal epsilon0, the surface of the plates, divided by the separation between the plates. And afterwards, they make a graphic C 1/D method 1 C in farad, and normally they get a line. Using a least square adjustment, they extract the electric permittivity from the slope of this linear relationship. In the image, you can see the capacimeter, this square block, which measures the capacity in farads. The practice is very easy. Very easy, conceptual. Not that easy to really obtain the values. It's necessary to take the to be very, I don't remember the word in this moment. Don't worry. The second, to measure the mu zero, we use a solenoid. Solenoid. The longitude L and a current E measured by an perimeter, and here we have a source variable. Inside the solenoid appears a magnetic field approximately constant. This magnetic field is measured using a smartphone inside of solenoid. More or less in this position. The smartphone. And the smartphone measure this magnetic field. The magnetic field is equal to mu zero N dividido por L, where N is the number of speeds of the solenoid multiplied by the capacity. And making a graphic, the V versus I. Normally, the student get another line. This part of the practice is a little complicated. The slope of the linear field, again, allows us to determine the value of mu zero. This stage of the experiment reinforces the connection between theory and measurement. The velocity of light, c, is equal 1 divided by the square root of epsilon 0 mu c. And then they obtain the velocity of light. They compute absolute and relative errors and compare their value with the affected value. That we know those 299,792,450. This final calculation connects experiment with electromagnetic theory. A typical value that our student gets is C equal a 3.00 más minus 0.06 by 10 elevate to 8. A value very near to the real value. To analyze the conceptual impact, we collect multiple types of data. We record performance grades, administered survey student surveys, gather registration for feedback, and conducted comparative statistical analysis. This allows us to evaluate both quantitative performance and qualitative perception. The central education focus is competence development. The students strengths experimental reasoning, critical thinking, and scientific communication. They also developed responsible and effective use of digital tools. These transversal competencies are essential in modern engineering education. The rubric is organized into dimension and subdimension. Each dimension includes clear evaluation criteria and 5 performance levels. Quantitative scoring ensures transparency. Students understand exactly how their work is assessed, which enhances fairness and clarity. The rubric evaluates several key dimensions. These include data collection, quality, mathematical analysis, graphical interpretation, correct expression of errors, and scientific reflection. Each dimensional targets a specific scientific competence. This ensures that evaluation goes beyond the final numerical result. In this first slide, I present the first section of the rubric. I deliberately divided the rubric in 3 parts so that each block can be clearly read. Showing the entire rubric on a single slide will make it unreadable and pedagogical ineffective. The first section focuses on the initial stage of the laboratory work, particularly the understanding on the physical model and the formulation of the problem. The descriptors are written in measurable terms and aligned with the learning objectives. The goal is to clarify expectation from the very beginning and to make the evaluation criteria transparent to students. This is the first part. The second part is in this slide. This part concentrates on data treatment and statistical analysis. In particular, it evaluated how students apply the regression techniques and how rigorously they handle experimental data. The performance levels are clearly differentiated. Instead of using vague labels, each level specifies what is required in terms of methodological precision, correctness of calculation, and logical coherence. This structure helps ensure consistency in grading and provides meaningful feedback to the students. This final slide of the rubric shows the third section. This part focuses on the interpretation and scientific reasoning. Evaluates whether students are capable of connecting the numerical results with the underlying physical principles. Special attention is given to the discussion of uncertainty, the comparison with theoretical values, and the critical analysis and possible source of errors. By structuring the rubric in this way, the assessment covers not only procedural competence, but also higher order scientific thinking. Both groups conducted the same experiment, with the experimental group receiving the guidance through the rubric, while the control group did not. The control group is the typical group in a laboratory of physics. Post-experimental surveys assess student perception regarding the fairness and clarity of the evaluation process, providing valuable insight into the efficacy of rubric-based assessment. The boxes represent the interquartile range. The central line indicates the median, and whisker extend to the most extreme non-outlier values. Individual outliers are displayed at separate points. The experimental group show high central tendency and overall performance with partial overload between distributions, indicating a substantial but not absolute separation between evaluation approaches. This is the control group with 94 students. On the right, the experimental group with 96 students. The median is higher, but they are students of the control group who obtain no grading higher than of the experimental group. Always happen this situation. 94 and 96 students in two groups. The means are 4.4 the control group, 6.7 the experimental group. The rubric provides clarity for students and consistency for instructor. It promotes fairly evaluation by reducing the ambiguity. It also supports self-assessment and increased motivation, since students really understand expectation. In this way, assessment becomes part of the learning process. Always, the assessment becomes part of the learning process. Sorry, I need help. Bueno. This approach integrates theory and practical in a coherent way. It encourages autonomy and promotes scientific thinking. Of course, rubric implementation also presents limitation. It requires instructor training and active involvement, and not all the professors are in this line. Future work will focus on analyzing long-term impact. We aim to extend this approach to other laboratory activities. In summary, this proposal integrates experimental physics with competence-based assessment. This work combines an experimental activity with a structured evaluation model. 30 seconds.
Okay.
Before I finish, I would like to leave you with one final reflection. In physics, we teach the students that the speed of light is a universal constant, very precise, fundamental, and regularly defined. But in education, what truly defines quality is not a constant. It's the alignment between what we teach and what students do and how to evaluate them. We are not only measuring the speed of light, we are measuring how well our students learn to think scientifically. And that perhaps the most important constant in education. Thank you very much for your attention. I welcome your questions and comments. Discussion and feedback are always valuable for improving educational practice.